Okay, I'm going to start with number 8 on the study guide, or go ahead and do number 8 on the study guide. I did not put the answers to this on the PDF. One, you can get it really easily with your calculator using REF. Two, I'm going to tell you to start what the answer winds up being. You get 2, 0, -1. So if you got that and you were looking to get the answer out of this because you weren't sure if you were right, boom, there you go, good to go. If you didn't get that and you want to see where you went wrong, watch this, see what I do. The problem with these problems is there's lots and lots and lots of ways to do them. So if you didn't get that somehow and you can't get to the right answer, you may or may not find your error by going through this, but at least watch this so you can see the general process. So the first thing that I'm going to do, is take this and move it up to the top. I'm going to do that because working with that coefficient of x out front of 1 is a lot easier than the other ones. So I'm going to move that up top. So that's going to give me the system x minus 3y plus 2z equals 0. I'm just going to move the other two down one slot. So 2x minus 2y plus z equals 3. And the last one, 3x plus y minus z equals 7. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is target this number and that number. I want to get rid of them. I want to eliminate them in those two equations. And I'm going to use this equation to do it. So, I'm going to take this equation right here, and I'm going to multiply it by -2, and use it with this line. And then I'm going to do the same thing with that original equation up top. Multiply it by -3 to get rid of the bottom line. So when I multiply, that gives me, for the -2, I'll go green, -2x plus 6y minus 4z equals nothing. So, I'll go ahead and write in red here. I'm going to rewrite the top equation, x minus 3y plus 2, it's a bad 2z equals 0. Now, the reason why I write that and I keep that is because I need a relationship between all three, so that when I do get down to z and y, okay, so when I know z, and I know when I know z and I know y, then I can find x. That's why I keep that equation. It's kind of the easiest to do that with. Anyway, so back to this. I'm going to take this guy and add it to that line, and I'm going to get rid of this 2 because of that 2. So when I add them, I have no x's. Then I'll do blue. I take this and this, add them. 6y negative 2y gives me 4y. Then I take this, the negative 4z, and the z, add them. That gives me negative 3z. And that equals, well, 0 and 3. 0 and 3, add to 3. Alright, so now I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom line. I need to multiply by -3, so I get -3x plus 9y minus 6z equals 0 again. Now I'm going to add this and this. They go away. There's no x term. That's my targeted goal. Next, I add this to this. Gives me 10y's. So 10y. Lastly, I add this and this, which gives me, what's that, 5? No, they're both negative, so gives me negative 7z, and then 0 and 7 adds to 7. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Leave it right there. So now what I need to do is I'm going to target now this guy. I want to get rid of that. So the problem here is that I don't have the convenience with this one that I had with the one up top, that first x. I don't have this convenience where that has a coefficient of 1. That one kind of now gets replaced by this 4y. So my targeted number, when I had the 2 and the 3, my targeted number now becomes a 20, because that's the smallest number that both 4 and 10 go into. You could do 40 as well, you're just going to deal with bigger numbers. I'm going to do it with 20. So I'm going to make a little squiggly. I take this and I multiply it by 5. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply that by negative 2. Chose one of them to be negative so that I can add, because adding, especially when I'm working with these complex variables and letters and numbers and blah 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 blah, adding is a lot easier than subtracting and dealing with the double negatives. So 5 times that line, go to green. 5 times 4 is 20y. Remember, the target was the 20. We got it. And I get minus 15z equals 15. For the times by 2, I multiply the third line by 2. So that gives me, negative 2. So I get negative 20y. Negative 7 times 2 is plus 14z. And then 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Now I'm going to add these lines. And that gives me, these guys go away. 20y, negative 20y, they add to 0. That was my target. This gives me negative z equals a positive 1, which means that z is equal to 1. So, now, what I'm going to do, this line stays, this line stays, this line right here gets replaced by that line right there. It's a negative 1. So, go back to red. I get x plus 3y plus 2z equals 0. Let's separate a little bit here. I get x plus 3y plus 2z equals 0. Next, I write line 2, so I get 4y minus 3z equals 3. Last one, z equals negative 1. Scroll down, got all this stuff out of the way. So from here, I'm going to plug this negative 1 in there. So remember, that's part of my answer, the negative 1. That gives me 4y double negative plus 3 equals 3, which says that 4y is equal to 0 when I subtract the 3 from both sides. Divide by 4, y is equal to 0. Boom, that is part of our answer as well. Okay, now I'm going to take that y equal to 0 and this z equal to negative 1, plug them in here and here, and get what x is. So back to blue. That gives me x plus 3 times 0 is plus 0. And then 2, so this piece right here, 2 times z, 2 times negative 1, minus 2 is equal to 0. Solve that, x is equal to 2. So the giant circles are all my answers, which I'm going to write as a coordinate system. That gives me x equal to 2, comma, y equal to 0, comma, z equal to -1. And that is that. Look at that, almost exactly 10 minutes.